What is up, my mates of YouTube? Aussie Marcel here, and we are back in the capital wasteland, and it is a gorgeous winter day. It's about 22, which if you're watching this from somewhere with Fahrenheit, that's about, I don't know, like 71 degrees Fahrenheit. That probably sounds really warm for a winter for you guys. It is pretty warm. I mean, up in Queensland, they still have like 27-degree days in winter, which is insane. But that's beautiful, and I kind of need that right now. But it is an absolutely stunning day here, and I'll just show you my view. Absolutely stunning weather. Hang on, it's off center. I had it perfect before. Stunning day. I just walked past my my old house where I used to live with my dad and my stepmom for a while, and it used to be sort of like a really pale yellow color. But I just walked past it, and it's like this baby blue now, and it's the same house, but it's got a new coat of paint, and it made me think about how many memories I have in that house, and how I used to get home after school. It's like get home from work. Or I used to get home from school and hang out with my brothers for a while, and occasionally my stepsister. And it's been so many years since that's passed by. It's been so many years, and it's kind of wild. And it made me realize how much my town has changed, but also how little my town has changed. This place right here where I'm sitting right now, right where I'm sitting and filming this, has been unchanged for, I want to say, maybe 15 years. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that this place is almost like the beacon home, if you've ever heard of that concept before. And it's easy to take for granted things like this. Take for granted how beautiful where you live is. And it's sort of been a nostalgic walk for me, I've got to admit. Like, I've been walking around here, and it has been, I don't know, I've got this feeling like I've got to get out of this place. And I've had this feeling for a couple of years now, but it's really cemented. It's really in strong. Like, it's super entrenched right now that I need to get out of here. Not because it's bad for me, but because I need to grow. And I think everyone grows and evolves as they get older and stuff like that. But I'm sort of at a point now where I've sort of reached the limit of my growth here, and I need to go somewhere where I can grow beyond where I was growing. I've gotten to a point now where I've got to, how do I word this? How do I phrase this in a way that makes sense? I've got to grow beyond this place. And that isn't at the cost of this place, because this place will always be my home. But sometimes you just need to go somewhere else. And granted, with the lockdown and all of that occurred, where millions of Aussies were after the lockdowns in 2019, or 2020, I should say, when our freedoms were taken from us, it's so easy to take that for granted. And here in Victoria, we had it worse than literally anywhere else when it comes to how many freedoms were taken from us. We literally couldn't even go outside and exercise. I remember going out for a walk, and I had this bloke walk past me, and he was on the other side of the road, and I wasn't wearing a mask because there was no one on the street. There was going to be no one on the street. And the dude yelled at me and called me a dickhead for not wearing my mask. And I was like, what the fuck? And I felt like granted, I was in a different headspace then, and I just felt like going up to that dude and just beating the absolute piss out of him. Obviously, nobody should do that. And like I said, I was in a different frame of mind then. I was younger and more aggressive, had more more of that youthful testosterone coursing through me. But I don't know anybody that didn't live in Victoria during the Victorian lockdowns doesn't really understand just how easily it can all be taken away from you. And being out here, being out in this space, looking at the lake system here, looking at the mountains in the distance, being able to appreciate everything. And it is truly like one of the most gorgeous places you'll ever see. Even when you're somewhere as beautiful as this, you still have that yearning to grow and to evolve beyond where you currently are. I'm walking past my house with that new coat of paint, and I remember like lying in bed in there playing my Game Boy Advance SP. I remember playing Pokemon, and it would have been like 3 a.m. in the morning, and I was just, I didn't sleep much back then, so I would have just been playing Pokemon just to stay awake. How many amazing memories I have, how amazing my family is, how important family is. Never take for granted family, guys. I'm lucky to have the family I have. It's not just your blood family either. It's the family that you choose. It's the family you associate with. It's way more than just blood ties. But sometimes people need to grow and evolve and change in order to further appreciate where they've come from and where they were and where they're going to be, how they're going to navigate their future. So I think that's pretty interesting. And on days like this, when you're just like getting some rays, it's just so easy to appreciate the natural world. And it's kind of a bummer. And I may have touched on this in previous videos about how kids nowadays would rather be indoors in front of a screen. And I'm aware of the beautiful irony of recording this from my iPhone. But I mean, what is it? The message is the medium. But yeah, getting out in the open world. And I had heard a phrase I never thought I'd ever hear. I heard my grandmother say skibbity toilet. Can you believe that? And it was this moment of complete and utter, not bewilderment. Bewilderment's not the right word here, but it was like this massive cultural clash in my head because I just saw a literal baby boomer basically say skibbity toilet and inquire as to what it is. And I had to go through the whole thing about what it is. And the fact that I don't think anybody that isn't like a little kid can truly understand what any of that is. But having to explain it, give it that cursory explanation as to what it is, man, what a trip. What an absolute trip. But it's a generational thing, because when I was in high school, we would say le epic and le random and stuff like that. And then le epic became ebin, E-B-I-N. Do you guys remember that? I think there's a lot of people around my age here on YouTube. So I'm pretty confident, man, people will understand where I'm coming from. But I grew up in the best era, man. No phones when I was a kid, flip phones when I was in school, and then would listen to Suicide Silence. Hopefully that doesn't get my video flagged. I'm talking about a band, I'm not talking about actual suicide. The YouTube censors are wild. You'll never fully understand what they're gonna pick up. Yeah, I grew up in a really good era, but I listen to my grandmother and how she describes the era that she grew up in, and I go, man, those would have been the days. We're talking before proper refrigeration and freezers and stuff, and they used to have ice chests to put cold, to keep things cold. We're talking minimal electricity. We're talking no TVs. We're talking Hop Harrigan on the radio. We're talking that kind of stuff. How amazing does that sound? But again, having this little medium where I can talk to you guys, I try not to take it for granted. I'm not a big fan of tech. I'm not a big fan of phones because I think maybe they're a net negative, but if we can communicate together, if we can exchange ideas, if we can talk and converse, maybe there's a large positive there, which we can be thankful about. I don't know, man. I just look at the world the way it is, and I look at how beautiful it all is outside, and maybe the future generations won't have that. Maybe the future generations won't inherit this earth. And isn't the whole thing supposed to be, you've got to leave the earth in a better shape than when you came into it? Shouldn't that be the mindset here? Shouldn't we leave the world as it is right now, if not the same, then better, so that our kids and our kids' kids can experience all of this, the absolute majesty of all of this? Like, if I'm ever lucky enough one day to have kids, if I'm ever lucky enough one day to have children, man, the things I would tell my daughter, the things I'd tell my son, the things I'd show them. Just take a moment to appreciate it all. What a beautiful world we live in. Don't take it for granted, guys. And it's kind of amazing how when I used to come down here when I was younger, and I'm not saying I'm old or anything like that, I'm not, but when I used to come down here when I was younger, all of the trees down there, they were all tiny. Everything around there was so tiny. And now everything is big, and they've grown, and I've grown alongside them. And that's kind of amazing when you think about it. Everything's growing, everything's changing, nothing's permanent. It's all temporary. But the fact that it's all temporary is why it's also beautiful. And I'm sure there are some of you out there that also understand what I'm talking about. Anyways, I hope everyone's having a beautiful day. I hope you have a beautiful week ahead. Thank you for allowing me to talk. Thank you for giving me this platform where I can share my thoughts and feelings and things. It's a beautiful world, and it's a beautiful day. And don't forget that you guys are all beautiful as well. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, I'll catch you guys around. See what I mean? It's absolutely stunning out here.